Age of the Moors. He gave us the gold. He was the editor of the Golden Age of the Moors. This man, Ivan Van Sertima, was probably responsible for some of the most Afrocentric, as far as combination of a pioneer, because the simple fact he edited most of the books. Blacks in Science, Great African Thinkers, Sheikh Anta Diop, Egypt Revisited, African Presence in Early Asia, African Presence in early America, African Presence in early Europe. You see what I'm saying? What was the last one he did? That Egypt one. He did that last brown, that beige book. Came out in 03 or 02. Anyway, African Van Sertima was the person who brought these scholars together to give us our particular information. Now it was interesting because I think he was losing his memory the last time I heard some stuff about him, and I think it might have been some hanky-panky because he was I think he taught at Rutgers.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah,
Rutgers. So anyway, this brother was a pioneer in bringing us this particular information. I think Renoka Rashidi announced it on the actual internet. And he was a great mind. It was interesting here because one of the last things I heard him do was the book Ancient Future with what's the boy name? Wayne Chandler. And it was interesting here. He did the introduction and he started talking about all this Hermetic material. So it meant that he was into certain occult sciences that being in the university, your hands are tied. You can't really go into those particular things. They have a strict way. You see, either you're going to be in history or you're going to be in theology. They break it up that way, and they never put them together. You have to choose which one you're going to be in and stuff. It's a way they do things, and this is the way they can control things. You see, they can control things. So we're going to dedicate this lecture to him. Ivan Van Sertima. And it's ironically because, like I said, some of the Moors were key in bringing me here this time, and it's ironically that this Golden Age of the Moor is probably one of the definitive books on this. I'm telling you, I went to a white college, and this guy had a class, and they invited me for Black History Month back in '07, and the white guy looked, and he had to pay. He said, "Man, I gotta get one of those." He said, "I gotta get one of those." He was like, he said, "It's interesting, man, that we are victims of being held back with information, and being held back with information." And I said, "Yeah, man." We talk about the people that is responsible for you even having a fucking university.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
And you don't know nothing about it.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just interesting here. So we're gonna give a great ashe to Brother Ivan Van Sertima.
Ashe.
Okay, Yemen Yah, ashe. Metatron, ashe. Oshun, ashe. Oshun, ashe. Nefertim, ashe. Bass, ashe. Butchers, ashe. Ashe. The female goddess of the Moors is called Metronet. Metatron and it's Metronet. Ashe. Now, y'all all right? So we always bring the bibliography. So you're gonna get this book, Metatron. Oh, let me get you some glasses.
The mouthpiece.
Metatron, the mouthpiece. Yes, he is the head of the angelic host. Metatron is called Medu-Ra-Atan. He's also Nada, the Ethiopian god, and he's also called Tarakti, or what we call Rahaki, or what we call Rahiru-Kahudi. So this is a book called Metatron by Rose Vanden, V-A-D-E-N. Rose Vanden, V-A-D-E-N, and her last name is Enden, E-Y-N-D-E-N. This is her last name. E-Y-N-D-E-N. And this is Metatron. This is the new book that came out. M-E-T-A-T-R-O-N. Metatron. This is the book that you can get to learn more about Metatron, the Moorish god.
He's Santana's angel.
He's Santana's angel. What happened was, Santana's got this visit from Metatron. Metatron told him, look, there's some things that happened to you with some molestation when these white men used to go to Mexico when you was a child and fill you all up. Go down and get little Mexican boys and molest them. He said, you need to tell this story to the world. He said, what? He said, yeah. He said, tell the story to the world. He said he went and he said he ran to some metaphysical bookstores. He said, y'all know anything about a Metatron? They was like, yes. Gave him some information on Metatron. They read up on Metatron. Metatron said, if you tell them this story, I will make you #1 again. And that's almost impossible for a person that was music was from the 70s and you become #1 in the 2000s. And he told a story and his record, Supernatural, became #1 for an entire year. Now Metatron came to me a year after I started lecturing. He said, my name is Metatron. One of the seers, the sister Ty Seeley. She said, I need to come over your house. I got a message for you. And she said his name was Metatron. He also said he was Melchizedek. A lot of people, a lot of white folks, and a lot of Christians can't draw that parallel. He said, I'm Metatron. And he said, my real name is Medu-Ra-Atan. That's the Egyptian name, Medu-Ra-Atan, Metatron. And Metatron, and I'll show you how he is the Moorish god. And so he gave me this information, so you don't know who you are, you know what I'm saying? He said, you know, just giving me all this particular information about myself or whatever type thing. And he said, I'm with you and all this type of thing. So Metatron, this is the book that came out. So now don't get upset because you got white people, white figures on the books. Look, white folks understand that you draw the image of the God you venerate in your likeness. We the ones who got to learn about that. So don't get mad at them. This white woman wrote this book on Metatron, so she drew this guy here. It says Metatron invoking the angels, invoking the angel of God's presence. Metatron, he's the highest angel. Now I showed you another picture of him as Akhenaten the Ethiopian. We'll show that again for the people who missed that particular picture. But he's but he is that particular deity, like I said. But this is the Moorish seal. This was found in Europe. Now I don't know if the white boys came back and modified it to their likeness. It doesn't matter. All we know, this is a Moorish seal that they don't take no claim of knowing. They just know that they translated these things. So this is the god that shows up as nothing, but the goddess is called Metronet. And you want to learn about her, you need to get a book called Hebrew Goddess by Raphael Paty. Hebrew Goddess by Raphael Paty. And it deals with Raphael Paty, Metronet. Y'all all right? Okay, so Metatron, Medu-Ra-Atan, Atan, Atum, Zarabanda, Madre de Agua, Madre de la Luna, Mama Shola. Mama Shola is the Apollo deity that is on the Supernatural album. And he wears a circle with a cross, which means he's Palo. Palo Manombe, the Congo writes that later on in Europe, in Latin America, Mexico. The Palo, real powerful system of magic coming from Congo, Africa. Carlos Santana is inducted into Palo. You see, that's why Mama Shola is on the Supernatural album. Mama Shola. Santísima Muerte. Santísima Pedra Ema. Francisco Siete Reyes. San Simón. Spiritus Tranquilos. El Cristo Rey. El Cristo Negro. And as you know, El Cristo Negro is a crucified black Christ that is worshipped in Puerto Rico on October the 16th. October the 16th is also worshipped here as the Savior's Day of Elijah Muhammad's birthday, I think. And also it's worshipped in India as Lakshmi's, the goddess of wealth and beauty and prosperity. She's Lakshmi is called the Diwali festival in India. It's the biggest day in India, or the biggest festival. It lasts a couple of weeks. But it's the biggest festival in India. It's bigger than, it's as big as our 4th of July, Christmas, and New Year's. At the Diwali festival, which is goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity. She's also October the 16th. But they also worship El Cristo Negro down in Puerto Rico. And the crucified black Christ. There's an El Cristo Rey coming from Palo. El Cristo Negro is crucified black is Osiris. El Cristo Rey is Amun-Ra or Horus. El Cristo Rey. There's a big statue of El Cristo Rey down in El Paso, Texas. And that's where my father happens to be buried. In El Paso, Texas. And he happens to be a Hemmitt, which is in Ewald's Budge's book, it means a people that will, it's an Egyptian name that means a group of teachers in the later day. Now that's a prophecy. H-E-M-M-I-T. Because mine is T-T, but you know, double T1. And it says a group of beings, a group of pre-existent beings that will be in the later day. Teacher, Bobby Hemmitt. That's prophecy. You see what I'm saying? You see, it's called the Hemmitt spirits. You see what I'm saying? But my father, Hemmitt, is buried in El Paso, Texas, and there's an El Cristo Rey. Big old statue, El Cristo Rey in El Paso, Texas. You see what I'm saying? Y'all all right? Give me a few more. Give me a few more. Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, Uriel, and one called Arithiel. He's coming to the planet probably on the summer solstice. Arithiel. He's also called Orpheus in Greek, Dionysus in Greek, and Osiris in Egypt. But this is original Osiris. We're talking about frequencies of energies. We'll get into that and stuff. We'll get into that now. So there's one called Arithiel. Now Arithiel is also this particular deity here. This particular deity that I've been showing. I'll give you another picture of it because I got several ones. But I'll give you the one I can find. Is this particular picture of, y'all all right?
Here we are.
Of Baron Samedi. Baron Samedi. He's known as Osiris in Egypt. He's known as Osiranophus in Coptic Egypt. He's known as Sabbath in Sabbath. You say Akhenaten Hebrew. Sabbath, the god Sabbath. That's what your Sabbath day and all that. Then he's also known as Samedi, Baron Samedi, Saturday, Sabbath in Voodoo. With the top hat. That's why we got the top hats over here. You see what I'm saying? The magical hat. Magical hat. You see what I'm saying? So you can take this hat, you can go out to Party City and get you a little old $2 one. They got Party Cities here?
Yes.
Get you a little $2 one right now until you can afford another one. This will cost about $70. And for you men, you can take this hat and put on your little wee-wee and get rid of your little impotence and your little wee-wee problem. You see? Serious business, real powerful shit. He told me, he said, put this hat around your wee-wee. I said, man, I don't have no, what you call it, male. I said, I can get it up. He said, I said, I'm not old enough yet. I can get it up. He said, no, put it around your wee-wee. So then I realized what it was. It wasn't that I had erectile dysfunction. It wasn't until I put it on my wee-wee that I found out that there's something different than when you're 19 than when you're 47. When you're 19, you can bust a nut and like 5 minutes later, bam! When you're 47, you might bust a nut, you're gonna have to come back tomorrow. That's it. This a musket. I got one shot at this shit. This goddamn musket. This ain't no repeat. You got this a gap. This is a musket. This a slit. This a musket. You got one now. You goddamn don't get yours before this damn musket go off. Your shit is toast. You know, so you better get yours before this musket go off. We might not. There ain't gonna be no coming back. No 5 minutes later. But when you're 19, there ain't no problem. 17 bucks, bam! I didn't know how. So they said, put it on your wee-wee. I put it on my wee-wee, and the next thing I know, I was like, oh, shoot! I done went back to 19. Thank you, Baron Sunday. Thank you. Now, Baron Sunday, I kind of bent it up in the way. Baron Sunday, let me see if I can find a picture of her. Baron Sunday has his counterpart is a woman named Brigitte. Brigitte is, her color is lavender, purple. This is her hat, the purple hat. Brigitte. Brigitte. Very powerful demon, and they rule over the graveyard. They rule over the graveyard. And all. So, we're going to do the Baron Sunday. Ashe. We're going to deal with Brigitte, Ashe, and that'll be good for right now for the actual libation. We're going to deal with the goddess Tara. This is an altar. If you get your hand on this altar, you can do just about anything you want by putting this picture up in your house. This altar, they don't even show this altar. I had to buy a book that came out in 1974 to get. I had to pay $100 for the book just to get this one picture. Because they don't show this stuff. You see what I'm saying? And this particular picture here, this healing picture here, this was a spirit. I'll show you a picture of it in a few minutes. You can put it on. We put this over a sister's bed, and she was dying with cancer, had about 2 weeks to live. Cancer went into remission automatically. And come to find out that this is called the Singers of Healing, and come to find out it was the god Raphael. Raphael is the god who is the god of healing. So you can put that over your bed, you got something. That's $5. Or you can get that purple disc and get all of Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and all of them elves. The Elohim, the elders. You see what I'm saying? Now, so you give a good Ashe to the gods, all gods known, unknown, Ashe. And all, so 1, 2, 3, start calling out your family members that's passed on. 1, 2, 3, call them out. Ashe. I got an uncle named Maceo just passed on. And all. He told us to play him some James Brown when he passed on. Maceo. And all. So that's the Lanza. Let's see. Let's put it. So all ancestors known and unknown. Ashe. All gods known and unknown. Ashe. So I'm gonna take me a little sip to libate myself, not for drinking purposes, for spirit purpose. You see what I'm saying? Now, what I want to deal with right now is this. So how long you want to go before we take a break or whatever?
We'll go till, let's say 9.
Okay. Then you come get them checks in them discs in them 8s. At least get them checks. But that disc is unbelievable. But what I want to get into right now is this. So I guess I'll put this back up. I want to get into the war against the Moors. We got a lot of stuff to deal with the archangel, but this is very important. I want to deal with the war against the Moors. And this is what this is. This is what this is. The war against the Moors. Now, the government has declared war on the Moors. This thing started, we noticed it about 3 months after 9/11, going into December, when the Atlanta Journal and Constitution automatically did an article on the Moors. But the mystery how you do the article on the Moors is you don't mention that they are black. You do it now in the midst of this Al-Qaeda, in the midst of Iran, in the midst of Iraq, you see what I'm saying? In the midst of the Taliban, Afghanistan, and you introduce these people to the Moors. I'm like, wait a minute. The antenna went up. Something is funny going on here. We need to deal with this. So the antenna went up, and I said, wait a minute, why would the paper automatically do something on the Moors? Did a whole piece on the Moors. Okay. Then, all of a sudden, I say something's going on. See, because I said they're going to tie this whole terrorist thing, because there is no terrorism. We know this is made up. So we know that it's got to be an angle. And I said they're going to tie this to us, black people in this country. So let me go into a couple of, I'm going to give you two reasons why they have to go to war. The Moors brought up material, and it's envy. It's and it's just that they're a war machine, so they have to pick somebody, and so they got to pick their true enemies. Plus, it's also like it's one of those things whereas you have the evil person. He has somebody give him some secrets, and he turn around and kill the person and give him the secrets. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to the Masonic orders. Whereas Dr. Ben, I was in his little mystery system. He did get this particular information where they used to teach us before his mystery system went defunct back in in '94. I was in the mystery system for a little while, and I got inducted in '91. They say that the first thing they do when those Masons, when the white Masons go, when they go to get a black man off the street, blindfold him, and they put him before all the initiates when they first go over. And they say, this is your father, always hold him down. So that particular father that they're talking about is the Moor, because this is the father who taught them. You see what I'm saying? Who taught them the knowledge and the wisdom. We're talking about Masonic lore. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, what's your boy? Thomas Jefferson's notes to Virginia says that he liked black people, supposedly. He liked some black booty or whatever. Notes on Virginia. First of all, I want to say that this is the 50-year anniversary of Lady Day's death, Billie Holiday. This is also the 30-year anniversary of the death of Minnie Riperton, one of the angelic voices. This is the 30-year anniversary of a very important pioneer in disco, which was Van McCoy. Van McCoy created the hustle in 1974-75 and taught Europeans how to dance. Thus, then they took that and made the movie Saturday Night Fever and was dancing and all that stuff. They've been hustling for about 3 years. Made the movie Saturday Night Fever and then all of a sudden now the Bee Gees become the architects of disco. Yeah. But it was Van McCoy that taught them how to dance with the hustle. They couldn't dance. It just that when what's the other one that came after that? Thriller came. They had MTV, so it became the biggest seller. But Off the Wall was the one that broke the camel's back and was one of his best albums. It's 30th anniversary of Off the Wall. You see what I'm saying? Of Off the Wall. And Quincy Jones recorded 3 or 4 master albums. Off the Wall, 1979. George Benson's Give Me the Night, 1980. One of the greatest albums ever recorded.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Woo.
1981, he did The Dude, his album, won all the Grammys. And the same year, he did, Patty Austin did one called Every Home Should Have One. And it didn't go over in America, but it's huge in Europe. And then in 1983, they did James Ingram's first album. James Ingram's first album. So those were major mass albums. And you can put Thriller in there also. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, I just want to give you some anniversaries of some stuff. Now, going back to this particular thing, they say you must always hold them down because he is your master, hold him down. And the master, the Masonic thing was the teacher, master teacher. That's the Moors. You understand what I'm saying? Now, it has been brought up recently, again, reiterated again, that once you get the black bloodline in you, you can't never get rid of it. So, Queen Elizabeth and them are angry because the black bloodline was given to them in Spain. with Queen Charlotte. And so therefore, Negroes forever. It's in there. You can't get rid of it. So they declare war on Islam for the simple fact it was the Moors that blackened up the bloodline of Queen Elizabeth this day. That's her sister. That's her sister. If you look at earlier pictures of her, she got that darkness of the, with the black. And once you get that black blood in you, you can't get rid of it. And they are mad. There's history that their line can be traced back to Spain when one of them Moors screwed somebody and they had Queen Charlotte, was Charlotte, North Carolina's after, which is the black woman.
Right.
And in the movie, what's that movie they say, The Mystery Lies in Charlotte? A National Treasure. You see what I'm saying? And when they dug up Charlotte and it led them to the pharaohs, the end of the movie, all these black statues. He said, I'm standing in front of a tall Egyptian statue with a goatee. So that's one of the mysteries on that. They're mad based on that bloodline.
They also use it for a whore, a charlatan.
Charlatan, ain't that something?
Charlatan.
They're gonna name it. That's just like blackmail and all this kind of thing. You see, charlatan. That's the black sister. And you go to Charlotte, they got two statues. One at the airport, one of them downtown. I don't know whether it's downtown. They got one downtown in Charlotte, North Carolina. They got one at the airport, and one of them has a chain on the bottom of the foot. And one of your natives is moved to Charleston. To Charlotte. Brother Darrell Rice, who's credited for bringing me here about 5 times. You see what I'm saying? He lives in Charlotte now, and he lives in Charlotte. And all. So that's another thing as far as the bloodline. They're angry based on that. Now they also, and I think this is where the Jews come in. First of all, Dr. York, before he met his demise and got locked up, he declared himself and his group the New Wabians, a Moorish nation. They shouldn't have done that. Because the Nuwabians, the Moorish nation, but he shouldn't have done that. Because when they gave the police officers, the arresting police officers, an award for his arrest, so-called taking minors across state lines, some kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When they gave the same old stuff they did with Jack Johnson, ain't that the same shit? Some kind of
Berry too.
Chuck Berry and all that. See, same old laws. When they gave the police officer, the arresting police officer, locked him up. And before they sentenced him, they gave them awards. And they said, well, we were just arresting the police officers. You need to thank the ADL. They're the ones that gave us the information. They're the ones that tipped us off. They're the ones that did all the work, the leg work to arrest this man.
What?
You see what I'm saying? But one of the keys here is again. Here's the keys here is again. Why would the Jews come in? Because you've got to realize this is one of the keys. One of the keys with the Moors was they was answering an Egyptian blunder. In Sheikh Anta Diop's book, African Origin of Civilization, Myth and Reality, he goes into a part on how the Egyptians, who were the most advanced people at that particular time, knew that they had Europeans up in the caves and hills wasting away, and they did nothing for thousands of years to bring them to a certain level. Yeah. Then it was left up to the Moors to do it. And one of the ways the Moors had to do it was to make a non-aberrant man. Get a book called Ernest Scott. Ernest Scott, People of the Secret. And then they said that they had to go up and use alchemy to make a non-aberrant man. But there's something called sexual. I couldn't understand what he meant. How can the Moors make something, and aberrant means unnatural, unusual, unnatural, abnormal. So to make a non-aberrant man, the Moors, as they said, is one of the deals, and it's in that book, Ernest Scott's book, People of the Secret. They had to make a non-aberrant man. I said, well, how would they do this? He just say the Moors in Spain. He don't say suppose, he say Islamic Spain. Islamic Spain. They had to make a non-aberrant man. I said, well, how did they do this? How did they make alchemy to bring a person from a mutant to human? How did they do it? means color. How do they do it? It was simple. I pondered this thing damn near 10 years. Well, how could they? Because I was thrown off based on the alchemy. I went to the Moorish Science Temple in Chicago and had a big picture of Noble Ali behind me. It was this one here with the sombrero on. So he came behind me because once they ascend, they have a knowledge to the Cosmic records. That's what's the name he did when he got on the Cosmic records to get that purple disc. So I'm standing behind Noble Ali, and he comes in, and I said, well, they had to make a non-Albert man, and he said, well, they had to use alchemy to change these people's DNA. And I said, well, how can that? It's simple. They took their wee-wees and stuck in that woman. In the progeny, they had hundreds of thousands of black babies. They re-blackened them just by sexual alchemy. They just screwed them. And that was a part of the breeding process.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And after they were ousted, and so what they did, they bred these progeny, these black people, or these newfound Moorish nation. Then they made them the highest, and they taught them Kabbalah. They made them the Hebrews. They took the ancient Hebrew faith, and they took the Kabbalah, and they made them the Jews. Which one's the original? Ashkenazis?
Sephora.
Right. And like Francis Cress Welsing said, after they were kicked out, they took the next 500 years or 300-400 years trying to re-graft themselves back into white. But then you had another faction of Jews that was converted that didn't have the black strain. And they made a deal with Adolf Hitler to take the ones who had the Moorish seed to the concentration camps. And they exterminated them and made sure that most of the ones that walked out of those concentration camps, you understand what I'm saying, based on their lineage, were mostly European. So that's one of the keys. This is one of the great mysteries here. Because what happened was, remember now, Hitler, the heads of the Jewish state, you know the history, they did it for two reasons. Number one, they wanted to fabricate a people who are based on the prophecies in the book of Daniel. The people who fulfilled the biblical prophecies could only have been the people that went through the Middle Passage. You see what I'm saying? The lost found worlds, you see what I'm saying, of that particular aspect. Now, whether you debate on how many or what have you, more you get into, whatever, nevertheless, we did have slavery. Now, what the degree, you know, that's a debate or what have you. We could argue all day long. It's history. It's perspective. History is straw, and some of the stuff is oral. So you just got to just take a composite of it and make a synopsis out of it.
Yes.
You see, and leave it there, and don't get hung up in the identity of who, how many, or what have you. But nevertheless, the only people up at that particular time that could be the people that they talked about in the prophecies of the book of Daniel and other prophecies within the King James Version. We can even say that because that's the book of the Europeans. The only people that they found, even in their book, based on our ancient text, the only people who could have done that could have been the people who went through the Middle Passage.
Yeah.
Now, so as a result, they needed to fulfill a prophecy that would line up with a tragic that would happen with the people so that they can fit themselves historically into those particular scriptures. Okay? The other part here is, they did it to try to wipe out that bloodline. Some of those particular European Jews, mainly the German sect, you see what I'm saying, tried to wipe out that bloodline.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That's one of the mysteries why you don't know why they happened. They was trying to wipe out that particular black bloodline. You get that? Now, check this out. What you want to do to find out that this stuff is us, even when you read the Bible, you need to go get a thing. Now, don't get past the white skin. You need to get a Bible series called Heroes and Legends of the Bible, narrated by Charlton Heston.
What?
Heroes and Legends of the Bible by Charlton Heston. And he comes on and he narrates at the beginning of it, and then they go into an animated series. Now, you're going to have a mostly white, but that's not the point. The point here is if you get that particular set, and you look at those stories, because sometimes you got to take it out of the Bible, and you look at those particular biblical stories, I guarantee you that it was everything that went down with us in the last 500 years. And so some of those texts that came out of Egypt was talking about, and they were Hermetic texts, and even Moorish texts, was stuff that went down with us in the last 500 years. I guarantee you, it's a 10 DVD set or a 10 video set. If you don't, we can make access. I'll even send them up here. Because I went to a flea market and got 10 VHS packed. And I said, I don't want that Bible. So I'm going to walk out. So you need to get that. And I started looking. I'm like, man, this is us. Joseph had some brothers that was jealous of him. Yeah. Joseph had the multicolored coat. That's the chakra system. Yeah. Those brothers got jealous of him and sold him off into slavery. Ain't that the Africans? The chose about slavery. They even told me that say Samson loses his sight because he has his hair cut off. We know that could be melanin, but also hair means heritage. He don't have his heritage no more, so he's deaf, dumb, and blind.
Okay.
If you look at those particular stories and them 10 things, you go, my God, this is what happened to us the last 500 years. Because some of those things are not talking about stuff that happened in the past, because none of that stuff can happen in the past. That's why you can't find no history to bear witness to it. But if you look at it in the future, everything in there. And once you get that, you can understand that even the Bible, the little old Bible and stuff, is talking about nothing but us in the last 500 years, what happened to a people.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, so that's one thing where the Jews come in on this. Now, this is the other part. Now, the prophecy is that the Moors brought up something called the Arthurian mythology or the mystery of Camelot. And they talk about a king and a land. They have the magical sword, that's Caliber, that's the Kundalini energy. They got Guinevere, and in the book Rundles and Clark's book, Egyptian Symbol and Myth or something, in that book, Rundle and Clark, Egyptian Myth and Symbol, Charles French uses it a lot. In that book, they say that the Arthurian mythology, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, comes straight out of Hemmitt. But it was brought up into Europe by the Moors. Now, it's brought up into Europe by the Moors. Y'all following me? We'll put this story together. So, the story goes that Camelot will be this new city on the shining hill that Ronald Reagan talks about. It was brought to France. It was brought, this Arthurian mythology, King Arthur, Guinevere, and they deal with the Holy Grail, the holy bloodline of Christ. The whole stuff is going down with Da Vinci Code and all of that stuff. Yeah. So the bloodline was the grail, the sand grail, the cup that bears the blood of Jesus. The cup is the pineal gland. The blood of Jesus is melanin. So the bloodline of Christ, but it is a bloodline, goes all the way back to Kemet. So this story of the Camelot means new lot of Cam. People of the Secret, Ernest Scott's book, broke the secret. New lot of Cam, Egypt. Camelot, there is no rebuilt Camelot in Europe, in what you call it? Egypt is Washington, D.C. The new Egypt is Washington, D.C. And get that book by the guy named, it's called The Secret Monuments of Our Nation's Capital. Awesome book. Guy named Secret Monuments of Our Nation's Capital. His name is, can't think of it right now to come to me. David Overson. Secret Monuments of Our Nation's Capital by David Overson. And he even mentions Benjamin Banneker in there. And how the whole thing is built around the god, around Aset. Virgo, when she's the virgin. You see what I'm saying? Also in a book called Atlantis so-and-so and Genetic Manipulation. Atlantis, it's a book, what's that guy's name? Atlantis, something in genetic manipulation. It'll come to me in a minute. What he also talks about that. But it's in there, Our Secrets Nations of the, you go into that whole thing, and Our Secrets The Secret Monuments of Our Nation's Capital by David Overson. So we know that Egypt, so Camelot was supposed to be this city in the future. That's America. And the people of Camelot is you.
Okay.
And we found another Camelot in England. The black people in England. It's millions of them over there. We went over there and stayed a week, and it's millions of them over there. I thought I was in Harlem. Thought I was in Harlem. They treated me and my queen like Michael Jackson. I signed so many goddamn autographs.